We'll now go to Mr. McLean, Calgary Centre. Mr. McLean, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. According to La Presse, Federal Cabinet Ministers Stephen Guilbeault, Catherine McKenna, and Jonathan Wilkinson have been handed responsibility for crafting an economic recovery plan that aims to accelerate the green shift. True to form, this cabal around the Prime Minister has declared, let's not let a good crisis go to waste. Can the Prime Minister confirm that his ministers have been working with environmental lobby groups for further financial support to engineer Canada's economy post-COVID?
The Honourable Minister for Middle Class Prosperity.
Mr. Speaker, our most urgent priority is COVID-19 and the health and safety of Canadians. As we support Canadians through this time, we will also ensure our long economic, environmental and physical well-being. Our government remains committed to building a stronger and more resilient economy to ensure a sustainable, prosperous future for our kids and grandkids. Just like science is guiding us in our response to COVID-19, science will continue to guide us to reduce pollution and fight.
And back to Mr. McLean.
The Task Force for a Resilient Recovery was quoted last week that they would have recommendations for government action available within 8 weeks, notably 8 weeks when Parliament is, by this government's design, absent. Can the Prime Minister disclose to this committee how many meetings his 61 environmental activist advisors have had with the task force or its members?
The Honourable Minister.
Chair, our most urgent priority is the health and safety of Canadians with COVID-19, and we'd like to also reassure our economic well-being and long-term physical well-being as well. Our government remains determined to create a more resilient and stronger economy so that we'll be there for our children and grandchildren.
The task force is a who's who of academics and bureaucrats. Surprisingly, no one from the productive part of the Canadian economy. So much for pan-Canadian input. The task force is reviewing work produced by Smart Prosperity, a government-funded institute whose membership overlaps with both the task force and the government's own Canadian Institute for Climate Choice. This is a bureaucratic environmental Ponzi scheme with overlapping personnel and overlapping mandates. The only thing not overlapping is their funding. How many organizations does this government need to fund to recycle work produced by other redundant government-funded entities?
Honourable Minister.
Monsieur le Président.
Chair, right now our focus and our priority is on Canadians, their health and their well-being, namely. Just as science guides us in our response to COVID-19, is going to continue to guide us in the fight against climate change. Our priority is to support Canadians throughout this period, and we're also going to ensure our economic and environmental well-being in the long term.
A notable member of the task force in question is one Gerald Butts. Perhaps just a coincidence, but can the Prime Minister confirm that this is the same Gerald Butts who was forced to resign as his principal secretary for his role in attempting to coerce Canada's then Justice Minister into breaking the law?
The Honourable Minister.
Monsieur le Président, depuis le début.
Mr. Chair, since the beginning of this crisis, our priority has been to support Canadians, their health and safety. We will continue to support Canadians because we need to get through this crisis by supporting Canadians.
I ask, is this the same Gerald Butts who was paid US $360,000 from an American-funded organization after he started working with this Prime Minister?
The Honourable Minister.
Encore une fois, Monsieur le Président, c'est important de parler aux Canadiens.
Once again, Mr. Chair, it's important to communicate with Canadians and ensure that they know that we're prioritizing their health and safety. We will continue to do so. This is a crisis, and we will support Canadians.
Butts, I may ask, whose role as the Principal Secretary in the Office of the Ontario's then Premier, advanced policies and now saddle Ontarians with the highest energy costs in North America. Is this the same Gerald Butts who weighed down Ontario with the world's highest subnational debt burden, all for the benefit of new green jobs that notably have never arrived?
That's the one. Honourable Minister.
Monsieur le Président, vous savez, depuis 2 mois et demi, nous soutenons.
Mr. Speaker, for the last 2.5 months, we've been supporting Canadians. We have created an economic program to help workers, businesses, and Canadians throughout the country. We will continue to prioritize Canadians' health and safety